there's a line that I said in my play. I said, is this an authentic codex or is this just poetic fantasy? And I kind of want to go into what I really wanted to share with group. And this kind of goes into, I want to really research and bring out to the table because as much as anything could be sacred to me, this is something I have found. So to like set like some kind of context in a meta sense is I had this dream once where it was like the end of the world and I had all these books and people were running around. I was like, why are you saving those books? Like, you're gonna die or whatever. But like, if we have a chance to live, like, we need to like preserve some books. And he's like, why? It's like, you don't understand. Like, if you really read a book, it changes your mind. And then like, I remember like that getting illustrated in my dream, and I'm kind of like, okay. So it gets to one of these books that has changed my mind a lot, and I want to share it with everybody. So this comes from, it's called Aztec Codex. And a little history on me, you know, for lack of a better word, there's a label that I am Mexican American. As I feel and I go through my felt experience, I'm native to the Southwest. And so I've been like, you know, in a poetic sense, looking for my lineage. I've been feeling like there's been something missing within me. And when I read this, it gives me a kind of an internal North Star. It says, before proceeding with this text, I would like to offer some background on philosophy and metaphysical concepts of the Aztecs. The codex were magnetic devices, memory aids for recording the sciences and wisdom of which the Aztecs had knowledge. The knower of things were wise men. These initialed into the cult knowledge and were responsible for composing, painting books, and knowing and teaching songs and poems in which were preserved to the Aztecs sciences, wisdoms, and mysteries. The Aztecs found in rhythm the poetry as easy and accurate way of remembering the meaning of the hieroglyphs inscribed in their manuscript. It is impossible to overemphasize the importance of poetry in shaping forms and thoughts expressed in high cultures and great civilizations of ancient America. Without knowing what the Aztecs called flower and song, poetry, we can either understand nor appreciate the greatness of their achievements. And for me, they didn't have any friction with flower and song. Flower, nature, biology. Song, how we create in harmony with it. And that, for me, is my internal North Star. And this is like the ideal for me. And so, some reason that feels intrinsically energizing for me. And that's, for lack of a better word, what I hold sacred when I personally are in a crisis. And yeah, I guess I get to the heart of what I want to explore. And I think when we're dealing with, we have real life. I think real life has a bias towards math. We are in hyperspace. It has a bias towards poetry. They're the same thing, but it's somehow, I think for me, it makes sense that it's kind of inverted. Because this whole thing has been made out of our collective minds. This is a space we started to form in thoughts in our minds, but then we clashed them together until we started to see this in a more solid state. The birth of it was within our collective minds clashing together.
Yeah, or attracting. So I need to ask you, thanks for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I believe maybe there is one more pattern. You said, I was looking for my lineage. And that was something missing inside you. So would you say that is also something that drove you to Omega?
I said no. Before I even came to Omega, just a little background. My group, we mainly function out of Minds, and Minds is an alternative social media group, but we have a liquidity pool. So I have some liquidity in there. And really, the rewards only work if you have liquidity. If you try to post, it's like, this is the intrinsic value. This is what my lived experience with token reward system. You spend a week pouring your soul into something, and someone who shitposts gets extraordinary amount compared to something that I do intrinsically. And to me, my infinite game, when I decided to be different as SatoriD, I did a willful change of saying, I'm going to play infinite game and I'm going to do this. It kind of feels me when I feel like, okay, I'm not getting any tokens. I'm going to make my stuff better. I'm going to spend more time on it. I'm going to build it greater and more to my liking and more to expression of my motivation and doing that. So, I made a willful intent as an artist to forge against these groups that are happening as a byproduct of systems from an artist perspective.
Mm-hmm.